Welcome to the Explainer. Sometimes a single word can pack a huge punch, and today we're going to put one of those words right under the microscope. It's a word you've heard for heroes and sometimes, well, for fools. So let's figure this out together. What does it truly mean to be audacious? So let's get right into it. The word of the hour is audacious. I'm sure you've heard it, right? For like an audacious plan, an audacious person, maybe even a totally shocking idea. But is that all there is to it? Is that the whole story? We're going to find out. Okay, so at its most basic level, audacious just means daring or brave. Simple enough, right? But here's the twist. See that little note there? Sometimes reckless? And that is the key. Think about it like this. A tightrope walker stepping out across a huge canyon. That's audacious, incredibly brave. But what if they tried to do that same walk in the middle of a hurricane? Well, that's when being audacious tips right over into being reckless. So it's a word that's kind of living on the razor's edge, between total glory and complete disaster. So, how can one little word mean something so awesome, but also carry this subtle warning? How can it be both a compliment and a criticism? Well, to figure that out, we've got to do a bit of word detective work. Let's dig down and see where it came from. And here we go. This is the root of the whole thing. It all comes from this Latin verb odere, and all it means is to dare. That's it. Isn't that interesting? Just to dare. And from that one simple idea, you can go down two totally different paths. You can dare to do something heroic, or you can dare to do something completely foolish. It all depends on the situation, right? The context is everything. And that's exactly how audacious gets its fascinating two-sided personality. One of the best ways to get a feel for a word is to see who it hangs out with, its friends and its enemies, so to speak. So on the friend side, its crew is made up of words like bold, daring, intrepid. Think of an explorer just charting a totally unknown part of the world. That's the vibe. And then you've got its foes, its total opposites. Timid, cowardly, cautious. What this really shows us is that being audacious, it's an active choice. It's about deciding to push forward when you could just as easily hold back. All right, so we've looked at the definition. We've dug up its roots. We've even met its friends and foes. Now, it's time to see how this word actually works out in the wild. Let's put it to the test. Okay, check out this sentence and really try to picture it, okay? You're in a packed press conference. Cameras are flashing everywhere. Some really powerful government ministers up there talking. Then, out of nowhere, a reporter stands up and asks a question that is just shockingly direct. The kind of question that makes everyone in the room go quiet. The kind of question that could even be a little risky for their career. So, what kind of question is that? What's the word that belongs in that blank? All right, here are your choices. Is it A, timid? Nah, no way. That's the exact opposite of what just happened. How about B, polite? Probably not if it's a question that's really pushing the boundaries. D, mild? Definitely not mild, so that really only leaves one option, doesn't it? Go ahead, lock in your answer. And of course, the answer is C, audacious. But why? Because that question wasn't just a question, was it? It was a challenge. It was bold, it was daring, and it completely broke the mold of how things are usually done. That reporter made an audacious move. And you see this in other places too. Like, think about a classroom debate when a student makes a really risky but totally brilliant point. You might call that an audacious claim because it changes the whole conversation. It perfectly captures that fine line between being brave and taking a big risk. So let's wrap this up and put together our audacious toolkit. What have we learned? Number 1, at its heart, it means daring and brave. But we always have to keep an eye out for its shadow side, that risk of being reckless. Number 2, we know it all comes from that simple Latin root, audere, which just means to dare. And finally, we know that to be audacious is the exact opposite of being timid or cowardly. There you go. You're now fully equipped to use this word like a pro. Okay, so we've taken this word apart, we've seen where it comes from, and we've seen how it works. But at the end of the day, a word is just a tool, right? It doesn't do anything until you actually use it. So the final question here, it isn't for me, it's for you. Now that you know what it really means, to be daring, to take a bold risk for something you believe in, how are you going to be audacious?